Hello out there in virtual land. My name is Matthew Ball, and it's my pleasure to be invited to the virtual space of the Rutherford B. Hayes Library and Museums for a concert this evening that celebrates American music, mostly from the 20s, 30s, and 40s, but I specialize in playing New Orleans and swing dance era stuff. And one of the things that means is what we're going to start off with here right now. That is some Boogie Woogie piano. Yes, Boogie Woogie was the dance music for an earlier America. And here's another one from an earlier America from the 20s. An old ragtime tune that's called Ain't She Sweet. Ain't she sweet, walking down that street? Well, yeah, confidentially, ain't she sweet? Ain't she nice? Just look over once or twice. Well, yeah, confidentially, ain't she nice? Just cast your eye in a direction. Be on my ain't that perfection. she sweet now? Ain't she fair? I mean everywhere. Oh yeah, confidentially. Ain't she fair? Ain't she sweet? I mean it to be. Oh yeah, confidentially. Ain't she sweet, boy? Ain't she sweet now? Oh yeah, yeah. Oh now, ain't she sweet? Ain't she sweet? Here's another toe tapper. This one topped the charts in 1940 from the great Glenn Miller Orchestra. The swing dancers still love this one and dance to it. It's called In the Mood. All right, and thank you once again if you're joining in just a little late. My name is Matthew Ball. I am the Boogie Woogie Kid, and you can find me on Facebook that way. I hope you'll stop by at some point during this session. We're going to go to about 8 o'clock here. I'm going to keep it rolling with another piece that came out of the swing era, and this is one I recall Fats Domino covering. It's called Careless Love. right, so I'm going to play a classic next for you that came out of 1938, which was a special year for Boogie Woogie. It was the same year Boogie made its debut at Carnegie Hall in a concert that was titled From Spirituals to Swing, and that highlighted a host of African-American musicians that had distinguished themselves in jazz. But the special guests that night were three piano players. They were named Albert Ammons, Pete Johnson, and Needlux Lewis. They played a very avant-garde form of jazz. In their day, of course, they called it Boogie Woogie. Albert Ammons of the three played this song that would bring him notoriety later, a little adaptation of a piece of music from Stephen Foster. It's an ode to a Florida waterway we know as Swanee River. All right, we're going to take you down to New Orleans next. I'm going to do an old jazz and blues twist on a spiritual, which is a grand tradition down there. This one is called Just a Closer Walk with Thee. do another old blues take on fine spiritual that they love to do in New Orleans. This one is called When the Saints Go Marching In. Next, let's do it. We're going to do something fast and fun. This is something that came out of the 1940s, a boogie woogie hit out of that time period that a gentleman by the name of Jack Fina came up with. He had the clever idea of adapting boogie woogie style to a famous classical melody from Rimsky-Korsakov called The Flight to the Bumblebee. And it became very successful for him and his big band, or even Walt Disney of his day picked it up and made a cartoon set to it, and you can find it out there on YouTube. The piano players loved it, of course, because it was a very show-offish piece. The only speed you can do it at is as fast as you can go. And here's mine on the Bumble Boogie. Alrighty, the Bumble Boogie. I think my fingers are warmed up. I gotta keep them going. Here's a little more classic Boogie Woogie from the celebrity age. This is called the Boogie Woogie Man. right, so some boogie woogie. Let's do something a little different next time. How about let's go to some classic jazz with a tune from the wonderful Fats Waller. It's called Ain't Misbehavin'. Okay, we'll stay in the 20s here with another song. This one I remember hearing out of a movie, believe it or not, in the 70s called Jaws. There's a scene in that movie that, of course, there are many scenes that stick with me, as I bet they are with you if you've seen the film, but surprisingly, this little melody does as well. There's a moment where the three fishermen are able to spot Jaws in the ocean. That being a feat unto itself, they're looking forward to what they think will be a successful hunt. Little do they know. But they're down in the cabin enjoying some strong drink and camaraderie and singing this little number from the 20s, I believe. It's called Show Me the Way to Go Home. Show me the way to go home. to my head. No matter where I roam, land, sea or follow, always gonna hear me singing that song. Show me the way to go home. Show me the way to go home. I'm tired, I just need a rest. I had myself some fun a little while ago. It went right to my head. No matter where I roam, land, sea or follow, they're always gonna hear me sing that song. Show me the way to go home. Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I just wanna rest. I had myself a time a little while ago. It went right to my head. No matter where I roam, land, sea or follow, you're always gonna hear me sing that song. Oh, show me that way to go home, to go home, to go home. All right, show me the way to go home. What else can I play for you tonight? How about let's take another little quick and short break with a moment of jazz from the great songwriter Gershwin. And this is called Let's Call the Whole Thing Off. lovely Gershwin, and we're heading towards the back end, and I do want to say once more, if you're joining in, First and foremost, thank you to the Rutherford B. Hayes Library and Museum for welcoming me to be a part of their virtual space and their programming tonight. If you missed the front end, my name is Matthew Ball, and I am the Boogie Woogie Kid online. You can find me on Facebook as the Boogie Woogie Kid. I hope you'll stop by at some point along the way. And of course, if you're enjoying some of this music, I hope you'll take the time to share a kind word with the staff, so maybe we can keep this sort of thing up. It may be the new normal. Let's see, what can I play for you next? How about it? How about a little more New Orleans music? This one is from a gentleman who's affectionately known as Professor Longhair, and this is a little whimsical piece of his that blends some very well-known nursery rhyme melodies, and it's called Rockin' with Bess. Play a little bit of blues here for you. Before we go, let's slow things down at least for one number. This is an old blues called Ain't Nobody's Business If I Do. took my lumps, paid my dues. No, no, ain't nothing I owed you. And I had nobody's business. All you find you, if I do now. And no lying, no, no, no reason why. And I had nobody's business. All you find you, yeah, if I do now. Oh, ain't nobody's business. What if I do? All right, I think we're nearing the end. Let me ask my timekeeper. Oh, okay. Well, let's do another old tune, old Boogie Woogie here from 1927, and this one was called the Cow Cow Blues, which later became the inspiration for Ray Charles' popular hit known as The Mess Around, which you might hear every Thanksgiving in this film called Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, because The Mess Around is the song that comes on the radio to which John Candy becomes so tickled in the seat belts of the station wagon that he's driving that he gets tangled up, and of course that leads to one of the comic episodes of the film. And but here's a toe tapper that's been moving people and shaking people for a long time. This is my own take on it: The Mess Around, or the Cow Cow Blues. right, I think I've got time for at least one more. And let me do another old spiritual in the blues style, like they love to do in New Orleans. And this is called This Little Light of Mine, I'm Gonna Let It Shine. Do we have time for any more? That's about it, folks. Thank you so much for listening in. Once again, my name is Matthew Ball, and you can find me on Facebook as the Boogie Woogie Kid. Let me say thank you to Joan and Christina, who have been my tech support here at the Rutherford B. Hayes Presidential Library and Museum. It's been my pleasure to be a part. Thank you so much to all the staff there. And I hope you maybe consider supporting the museum and library throughout the year. Normally I recall that there's a raffle. I don't know if you can still do the raffle, but I hope you're able to some way. Thank you everyone for listening in and joining in. I appreciate you. Have a lovely evening and rest of your weekend. Good night.